I think it's a very odd season of results and perception by the Pac-12, because I think if you grab the average college football fan on the street and say, what about the Pac-12 this year? They'll say, oh, wow, the Pac-12 has jumped back into the mix. Oregon beat Ohio State. Man, what about that UCLA game out at the Rose Bowl against LSU? Because those were the two games that everybody paid attention to, rightfully so, especially the Ohio State game. But overall, the Pac-12, I've run the numbers, 16-16 out of conference. And while that sounds like, okay, well, that's mediocre, you got to take into account those are FCS and Group of 5 games largely, and you better be winning 85 to 90% of those games. They had a 5-5 week 3, and basically across the board, a ton of bad losses in this conference. But the flag bearer right now, Oregon, got the win in Columbus. So if Ohio State has an Ohio State season, the perception might be really good, but the depth of the league might be worse than it's ever been.
I completely agree. And here's the thing. Right now, the Pac-12 has become the ACC of the past few years with Clemson and a bunch of nobodies. I mean, that's really where we are. And the thing is, if Oregon does make the playoff, the struggles of the other teams in the conference are going to be, if not necessarily forgotten, they're certainly going to be minimized. Because the main banner headline from the 2021 season is Pac-12 ends 5-year college football playoff drought with Oregon. I mean, that's going to be the number one story. And let's even keep in mind, Alabama, there were years, like 2016 in particular. In 2016, I don't know if you remember this, Mark, but all the non-Alabama teams in the SEC in 2016, they all lost at least 4 games. Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, they all lost at least 4 games. Auburn made the Sugar Bowl, lost at least 4 games in that regular season. It was Alabama and the 13 Dwarfs. But who cared? Alabama was there and played a classic championship game against Clemson. So the SEC's weaknesses and flaws didn't get banner headline treatment. It's missing the playoff. That's what really leads to ridicule and humiliation. In the Big 12's case, it's still not having won a single college football playoff semifinal. The Pac-12 did that when Oregon beat Florida State in the first year of the playoff. So if Oregon does make the playoff, a lot of these things get minimized. But, if Oregon doesn't make the playoff, it is an absolute disaster, because you've seen the Pac-12 North go 1-5 in week 1 with Washington losing to Montana, an FCS team at home. And now you have the Pac-12 South going 1-5 in week 3 with Arizona losing to an FCS team, Northern Arizona. It's Arizona's first loss to its in-state neighbor up in Flagstaff since 1932. And Arizona, Colorado looks like a game in which the loser, could be 1-11 this season. Colorado fortunately already banked a win over an FCS team in week 1. But so you could have Arizona and Colorado both go 1-11, and of course UCLA had that upward momentum and immediately junked it against Fresno State. And to add to the Pac-12 humiliation angle in that game, Mark, Jake Haener, the quarterback of Fresno State, who just torched UCLA's defense, he used to play at Washington, and Washington could certainly use a much better quarterback than what it has right now. And one could also say that Jake Haener was smart to get out of there before the house fell down in Seattle. So just everywhere you look, there are embarrassing stories. And now, of course, you have Utah with Charlie Brewer leaving that program after 3 games. We don't know if he's going to transfer yet. He hasn't placed his name in the transfer portal at the time of our recording, Mark. So it's so many bad stories. But if Oregon makes the playoff, most people are going to forget about it.
Yeah, another hit to the Pac-12 that I'll extend on the point that you made is UCLA losing that game takes away the possibility of a pristine Pac-12 championship game. Not that I don't think anybody in their right mind really expected everyone to play all the way through with no losses, but again, it tags UCLA with an early loss where they look like clearly the better team or the best team in the Pac-12 South. With an opportunity for a really nice record entering a Pac-12 championship game. But now we're fully in conference play for the most part. 3-9 is the Pac-12's record against the other 4 conferences, plus those BYU games. So that's not looking good. Really, we only have those couple games against Notre Dame left for Stanford and USC, plus the BYU contests
Yeah, just to hit on your UCLA point, Mark. Oregon plays UCLA in the regular season, and it really would have been great for the Pac-12 if those two teams were unbeaten heading into that game. And of course, that's the Chip Kelly against Oregon angle. If both teams had been unbeaten, that would have created a real national splash. And the Pac-12 needs those kinds of splash moments, and now it just got deprived of one. So that's another big hit relative to the UCLA loss, which you smartly brought up.
Appreciate the conversation here with Matt Zemek from Trojans Wire, and check out his work. Anything in particular that you're working on this week, Matt?
Oh, hey, we're covering a coaching search and a quarterback controversy. Other than that, not much going on. One of the things that's actually been really good for us at our website, Mark, is that we're covering the Pac-12 in addition to USC, and one of the things that's really gotten a lot of readership is that with Miami's situation potentially leading to a coach firing at the end of this season, Mario Cristobal, I don't think he's leaving Oregon. All right, let's just settle that. I don't think he's leaving. But if there is one job he might leave for, it's Miami. Played there, won a national title there. He's a native son. So if there is a job that could lure him away, it is Miami. So I've written about that. I've podcasted about that. And I'd like to give a shout out to my own podcast producer at Trojans Wire, Ian Hest. You find him on Twitter, Ian, Hest. He's a Miami Hurricanes expert. So I just talked to him about the Miami job, the Cristobal situation, lots of great insight, lots of detailed information. Ian doesn't think Cristobal is going to go to Miami either, but it's a really interesting topic of conversation with Manny Diaz in huge trouble at the U. It's well worth checking out on our site.
Great stuff, Matt. Enjoy the conversation. It should be rather intriguing. We've got a college football season like we haven't had in quite some time. Clemson shaky, Ohio State, Oklahoma. I love it. I love to see other teams in the mix and us having no idea what's going to happen.
Hey, if we get another 2007, bring it on. Let's have that.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, Matt. Enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the games as well this weekend, of course.
As always, thanks for having me on, Mark. Great to talk to you.